Hey YouTube, AZ Papa Les coming at you today. This is part 12, I think. Yeah, part 12 of the So You Want to Start Reloading series I've been doing. Sorry it's been so long since I've caught up on the videos. Just been things are all, never dull and boring here at Rancho Not So Grande. I can guarantee you that. Anyway, as you can tell by reading, today's subject, we're going to talk about bullets. And I'm going to try and keep it short and to the point, but there's just a lot of information about bullets. Generally speaking, the materials that the bullets are made out of are lead cast bullets. Then you have plated lead bullets. Then you have jacketed bullets, which can be both jacketed lead and copper, and or a combination of lead and steel or tungsten. And then you have just 100% copper bullets now. Here's an example of a, if I can get it so it doesn't roll. There's a plated lead bullet. Here is a jacketed bullet. And here is a lead cast bullet. Okay? And depending on the mixture in this, in the lead when you cast them, it can either be a much harder lead or a softer lead, depending on tin and other alloys that you combine with the lead. They can either be very soft or very hard. Okay? The plated bullets, they take a cast bullet and then they electrically plate it with copper. And they do that so that you don't get the lead buildup in your barrel. And it's a little bit less expensive than buying a jacketed bullet. And a cast bullet is less expensive than a plated bullet. Okay? So from a cost standpoint, you have cast, plated, and then jacketed. Jacketed bullets are, generally speaking, copper. The Eastern Bloc countries tend to do a lot of what they call bimetal, which has some steel in it and stuff. So I'm basically talking U.S. manufactured bullets here, okay? I'm going to stay away from the Eastern Blocs for a little bit. But comparing the two here, the plating on the plated bullet is not as hard as the jacketed bullets, okay? And the reason, it's like copper tubing. Copper tubing is very soft and very pliable. You can bend it easily to a shape or configuration, and that's what this is kind of like. The jacketed bullets are more like the rigid copper pipe. They're not so easy to bend and shape into form. It's a little bit harder, okay? So there is a difference in the copper there. And then we have, going down here, next is shapes and types of bullets. You have Wad Cutters, and I couldn't find my Wad Cutter example to show you. But suffice it to say that in the brass, it's just a flat, blunt nose bullet like this, and it's usually flush or just barely above the top of your brass here. Those are Wad Cutters. It's strictly for punching holes in paper for target practice and stuff like that. They're not overly accurate, but hey, all you're doing is punching holes in paper. This is a semi-wad cutter. It's got a more traditional bullet type shape. Still has a flat shelf down here. And here's an example. This is a 38 special semi-wad cutter. This is a 45 ACP semi-wad cutter. And you can see how it fits on the brass. Okay, with the lube rings. Those red stripes are lube that are injected into the rings on the base of the bullet. Okay. Then we have round nose. Here's a plated round nose, and here is a cast round nose. And I didn't dig out any of the jacketed round nose, although they are available and fairly common when you buy your Winchester white box or your Federal Champion. Those are jacketed round nose bullets, and it's just that it's a round nosed bullet, and that's it. Okay. And then you've got down here conical flat nose / round nose flat point. Here is the conical flat point bullet, shaped bullet. You see how it's more angular. It's not smooth and round. If you took this bullet and squished the top of it, you would have a round nose flat point. And the reason they have both of them is because of feeding issues with different guns. Typically, you'll see the conical flat nose used in like 40 Smith & Wesson and 10 millimeter, and you'll see the round nose or round round nose flat point used in like a 45 ACP. You can use the conicals are also used in 9 millimeter, by the way. And the reason they have the round nose is more because of feeding issues with the 45 ACP, especially in 1911, and the way it feeds out of the magazine. It's just a whole lot easier to shoot a more rounded bullet out of a 45 ACP than it is a conical. Okay. And then we have hollow points. Alright. And then we have ballistic points. A very aerodynamic, very sharp point. And then we have a hollow tip. And I don't have a hollow tip. But it's a ballistic point with a very small pinhole in the very tip of the bullet, and that's usually used on match grade ammo. And there is a difference between a hollow tip and a hollow point. A hollow point is made to expand. It's typically a much bigger hole in the tip of the bullet. Okay, it's made to expand. A hollow tip bullet is not designed to expand. They are not the same thing. It is for a ballistic air effect as the bullet is flying through the air. It is not for expansion. There's a difference. That's why they're not recommended to use for hunting. Not to use match grade open tip bullets for hunting, because they just don't expand. It just goes right on through. Okay? And then we have soft points. And sorry, this is the soft point I could get my hands on. Here's another soft point. This is a 30 caliber, the 308 caliber bullet for like a 30-06 or a 308. And here's your all-American 30-30 with the more rounded nose soft point bullet, typical for the 30-30 and like the 35 Remington for lever action guns. And the reason they did that is so that you didn't get the tips of the bullets hitting the primers and causing some premature ignition in your magazine, which would be no good at all. Okay, so there's the different types of bullets. Let me go back here. Remember I was talking about conical and round nose on the bullets. If you look at this bullet here, you'll see it's more conical shaped. It's not very rounded, where this one is more rounded than this one. This is my personal carry ammo in my 1911 and my Taurus PT 145. This is out of my PT 92. It's 147 grain hollow point, and it's more conical, more angular shape and less rounded. but it goes back to the feeding system and design on the 1911. The rounded points just feed more reliably and less problems, and that's all I care about for shooting. So I think we've covered this page well. So let me move some of this out of the way, and we'll move on to page number 2.